Did you know that less than 0.02% of Americans ever reach the age of 100? Yet those who do share surprisingly simple morning habits that most of us completely ignore. Today, I'll reveal 5 scientifically verified morning routines practiced by nearly every centenarian studied by longevity researchers. Habits you can start tomorrow morning to potentially add years to your life. The third habit is particularly fascinating, as researchers from the National Institute on Aging found it reduces inflammation by up to 40% within just 2 weeks of consistent practice. Margaret Wilson from Portland just celebrated her 103rd birthday last month. When asked about her longevity secret, she simply pointed to her morning routine that hasn't changed in 65 years. It's the same pattern researchers have documented in centenarian communities worldwide, from Okinawa, Japan to Sardinia, Italy. Habit 1. The hydration window. Why do centenarians worldwide never start their day with coffee or tea, but instead reach for something much simpler? According to extensive research from the Mayo Clinic's Division of Nephrology, the first 30 minutes after waking represents a critical hydration window, where proper fluid intake can optimize cellular function for the entire day. During sleep, your body becomes progressively more dehydrated, losing approximately 1 pound of water through respiration alone. This morning, dehydration thickens your blood, strains your heart, and triggers inflammatory responses throughout your body. All processes directly linked to accelerated aging. Frank Johnson, age 102, drinks 16 ounces of room temperature water with a squeeze of lemon before doing anything else each morning. When researchers from Stanford's Longevity Institute analyzed the morning routines of over 500 centenarians across 5 continents, they found that 94% consumed between 12 to 20 ounces of water as their very first morning activity. Even more telling, those who maintained this habit had measurably better kidney function, lower blood pressure, and fewer inflammatory markers than age-matched controls who started their day with caffeine or food. Failing to hydrate properly during this morning window forces your body to pull water from your organs and joints, accelerating cellular aging and increasing inflammation. The consequences become more severe with age, as your body's natural thirst mechanisms become less sensitive after 60, creating a dangerous cycle where dehydration becomes your baseline state. This chronic mild dehydration has been linked to accelerated brain shrinkage, decreased cognitive function, and increased risk of urinary tract infections. All common problems in seniors that proper morning hydration helps prevent. The solution couldn't be simpler. Place a glass of water by your bedside before sleeping and make it the very first thing you consume upon waking. For maximum benefit, drink 16 ounces of room temperature water before consuming anything else, including medications, unless otherwise directed by your doctor. Adding a squeeze of lemon not only improves the taste, but provides additional benefits through citrus bioflavonoids that support blood vessel health. If plain water is unappealing, try adding a few berries, cucumber slices, or a small sprig of mint. Your cells are already waiting for hydration. Don't make them wait another day. This first centenarian habit is perhaps the easiest to implement, yet offers immediate benefits you'll notice within days. Clearer thinking, reduced joint stiffness, and improved energy levels. Start tomorrow morning, and you'll join the ranks of those who understand that longevity begins with the simplest of acts. Habit 2. The early sunlight exposure ritual. Have you ever wondered why people who live past 100 are almost never diagnosed with serious sleep disorders or seasonal depression? The answer lies in their relationship with morning sunlight. Harvard Medical School's Sleep Medicine Division has documented that 15 minutes of direct morning sunlight exposure resets your circadian rhythm and triggers the production of mood-enhancing serotonin while suppressing sleep-disrupting melatonin. This simple practice synchronizes your internal body clock with the natural day-night cycle, directly impacting over 150 processes in your body, including hormone production, digestion, immune function, and cognitive performance. Ruth Davis, 101, sits on her east-facing porch every morning for 10 minutes while having her water, regardless of the weather. Researchers studying blue zones, regions with the highest concentrations of centenarians, found that morning light exposure was one of the few universal practices across all 5 global longevity hotspots. What makes this finding particularly significant is that these communities established these routines long before science understood the mechanisms behind their benefits. Without this morning light exposure, your brain continues producing melatonin at the wrong times, disrupting sleep patterns and accelerating cognitive decline. For seniors, this disruption is particularly damaging because age already compromises sleep quality through natural changes in brain chemistry. The consequences extend far beyond feeling tired. Chronically disrupted circadian rhythms have been linked to increased risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cognitive impairment, and even certain cancers. A landmark study from the University of Colorado found that participants who received inadequate morning sunlight had measurably higher inflammation markers and lower vitamin D production. The solution is straightforward. Open your curtains immediately upon waking and spend at least 5 minutes near a window or outside, even on cloudy days. The key is exposure to natural light within the first hour of waking, as this is when your photoreceptors are most sensitive to the specific wavelengths that regulate circadian function. Importantly, this light must enter through your eyes, not your skin, to trigger the neural pathways that regulate your body clock. So remove sunglasses during this morning exposure. For those in northern climates during winter months, consider a medical-grade light therapy lamp, minimum 10,000 lux, as a supplement to natural light. Your brain is waiting for this signal. Give it what it needs tomorrow morning. Among centenarians studied by longevity researchers, consistent morning light exposure correlated with better cognitive performance, more stable mood, and significantly better sleep quality compared to age-matched controls without this habit. This simple practice requires no special equipment, costs nothing to implement, and delivers benefits that expensive sleep medications cannot provide. Habit 3, the gentle movement protocol. The third habit practiced by virtually every documented centenarian might surprise you. It's not intense exercise, but rather brief, gentle movement shortly after waking. Johns Hopkins researchers studying centenarian communities worldwide found that 5 to 10 minutes of gentle stretching or movement within 30 minutes of waking activates longevity genes and reduces inflammatory markers by up to 40%. This morning movement serves multiple purposes. It pumps fresh, oxygenated blood to your brain, lubricates joints that have stiffened overnight, activates your lymphatic system, and triggers the release of anti-inflammatory compounds that protect against age-related diseases. William Turner, who recently turned 100, performs a 7-minute stretching routine he learned as a young man, focusing on his spine, shoulders, and hips. When researchers from the National Institute on Aging studied the daily habits of centenarians across diverse cultures, they discovered that 97% engaged in some form of gentle movement within 1 hour of waking, regardless of their formal exercise habits later in the day. The consistency of this pattern across populations with completely different diets, environments, and genetic backgrounds suggests this morning movement addresses a fundamental human need. Skipping this gentle morning movement allows inflammatory proteins to accumulate throughout the day, accelerating joint deterioration and cardiovascular aging. The University of California conducted a 15-year study comparing seniors who performed morning movement with those who exercised later in the day. Their findings were striking. The morning movement group showed significantly lower rates of arthritis progression, better cardiovascular outcomes, and improved balance, all critical factors in maintaining independence with age. What's particularly important to note is that this benefit appears unique to morning movement and cannot be fully replaced by exercise at other times of day. Start with just 3 simple stretches. Reach for the sky, gentle side bends and shoulder rolls, no equipment or special clothes needed. The key is to move slowly and deliberately, focusing on your breath and the sensations in your body rather than rushing through the movements. Begin with just 3 to 5 minutes and gradually build to 10 minutes as your body adjusts. For those with mobility limitations, many of these movements can be modified to perform while seated or even lying in bed. The Cleveland Clinic's Geriatric Physical Therapy Department has documented that even severely mobility-restricted seniors benefit from passive stretching and gentle range-of-motion exercises in the morning. Your muscles and joints are stiffest in the morning. Start tomorrow to prevent further deterioration. This habit is particularly critical for those over 65, as morning stiffness and pain often lead to a cycle of decreased movement throughout the day. By breaking this cycle at its starting point, you not only improve your immediate comfort, but potentially preserve years of mobility and independence. Remember, this isn't about intense exercise. It's about gently awakening your body's natural regenerative processes that centenarians have intuitively preserved. Habit 4. The protein-rich breakfast window. Did you know that what you eat within the first hour of waking might determine how quickly your muscles and brain age? Research from the National Institute on Aging's longitudinal studies reveals that centenarians across different cultures consume 25 to 30 grams of protein within 90 minutes of waking, supporting muscle preservation and brain health. This morning protein intake triggers muscle protein synthesis, which typically declines with age, leading to sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass that affects 30% of people over 60 and 50% of those over 80. Elizabeth Chen, 104, has eaten 2 eggs with vegetables every morning for the past 60 years. The Tufts University Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging analyzed the breakfast habits of centenarians and found a striking pattern. Regardless of cultural background, nearly all consumed a protein-rich first meal. What's noteworthy isn't just the presence of protein, but its timing, coming after hydration, light exposure, and gentle movement, creating a synergistic effect that appears greater than any single habit alone. This sequence optimizes nutrient absorption and utilization at the cellular level. Missing this protein window forces your body to break down its own muscle tissue for amino acids, accelerating age-related muscle loss by up to 10% per year after 70. This muscle loss directly impacts your strength, balance, metabolism, and even your body's ability to regulate blood sugar. Harvard Medical School researchers documented that seniors who consumed inadequate morning protein showed greater cognitive decline over a 5-year period compared to those who maintained adequate morning protein intake. The connection appears related to the brain's need for specific amino acids to produce neurotransmitters essential for memory and cognitive function. Include eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein-rich plant option like quinoa with nuts in your breakfast routine. Aim for at least 25 grams of protein, which equates to approximately 4 eggs, 1 cup of Greek yogurt with added nuts, or 1 cup of cottage cheese. For vegetarians, combining legumes with whole grains creates complete protein profiles similar to animal sources. The timing matters. Consume this protein-rich meal after your water, light exposure, and gentle movement, but within 90 minutes of waking for optimal benefit. Those with digestive sensitivities might benefit from protein-rich smoothies, which require less digestive effort while delivering necessary nutrients. Your muscles are already deciding whether to grow or shrink today. Give them the right signal tomorrow morning. This protein timing strategy becomes increasingly important with each passing year, as your body's efficiency at utilizing protein naturally declines with age. By establishing this morning protein routine, you're directly counteracting one of the most universal and debilitating aspects of aging: muscle loss that leads to falls, fractures, and loss of independence. Start implementing this centenarian strategy tomorrow to preserve what you have and potentially rebuild what you've lost. Habit 5. The gratitude moment. The fifth morning habit shared by centenarians worldwide doesn't involve what they put in their bodies, but rather what they put in their minds. Researchers from the University of California's Department of Psychology found that expressing gratitude for just 60 seconds each morning reduces stress hormones by up to 23% and lowers inflammatory markers associated with age-related diseases. This practice essentially programs your nervous system to operate from a place of sufficiency rather than stress, creating measurable changes in heart rate variability, immune function, and even pain perception throughout the entire day. James Wilson, 101, starts each day by naming 3 things he's grateful for while looking out his kitchen window. "I never skip this part of my morning," he says. "It sets the tone for everything that follows." When researchers from Yale University's psychology department conducted in-depth interviews with centenarians across the United States, they found that 89% practiced some form of intentional gratitude or positive reflection within the first 30 minutes of waking. What's particularly telling is that many describe this as their most essential morning habit, despite its simplicity and brevity, suggesting they intuitively recognized its profound physiological effects. Without this mental reset, stress hormones like cortisol remain elevated throughout the day, damaging brain cells and accelerating cognitive decline. The implications for seniors are particularly significant, as research from Ohio State University found that chronic elevated cortisol levels in older adults correlated with up to 14% greater hippocampal shrinkage, the brain's memory center, over a 6-year period compared to those with managed stress levels. Perhaps even more concerning, this same study found that elevated morning cortisol predicted greater progression of Alzheimer's pathology in at-risk individuals, suggesting that how we start our day mentally may directly impact our brain's resilience against age-related degeneration. Before checking your phone or turning on the news, simply state or think of 3 specific things you appreciate in that moment. The key word is specific. Rather than generic gratitude, "I'm grateful for my family." Focus on precise, immediate experiences. "I'm grateful for the warm sun coming through my window." This specificity activates sensory neural networks associated with positive emotions rather than abstract thought. Those struggling with chronic pain or health challenges might focus gratitude on parts of the body that are functioning well or moments of reduced discomfort. The Northwestern University Pain Management Center now actually prescribes morning gratitude practice as part of comprehensive pain management protocols for seniors. Your brain is most receptive to positive programming first thing in the morning. Don't miss this opportunity another day. The neuroplasticity of your brain, its ability to form new connections and patterns, is highest within the first hour of waking. By establishing this simple practice, you're essentially creating a daily vaccine against the toxic effects of stress, worry, and negativity that accelerate aging at the cellular level. Of all the centenarian habits, this may be the most powerful relative to the time invested. Just 60 seconds that potentially reshape your entire day and, cumulatively, your longevity trajectory. These 5 morning habits, proper hydration, early sunlight, gentle movement, protein-rich breakfast, and a moment of gratitude, form the foundation of a centenarian morning routine. The wonderful news is that you can begin implementing any or all of these habits tomorrow morning, potentially adding quality years to your life, starting immediately. What's most remarkable about these practices is their universality across cultures, suggesting they address fundamental human needs rather than culturally specific preferences. Even more encouraging is their simplicity, requiring no special equipment, minimal time, and zero financial investment. The centenarian advantage isn't about access to advanced healthcare or superior genetics. It's about simple, consistent practices that align with our body's natural rhythms and needs. Which of these 5 centenarian habits surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this information valuable, please hit the like button so more people our age can benefit from these simple yet powerful morning habits. Consider sharing this video with someone you care about. It might be the most important gift you give them this year.